Tunataka tuwaambie wale watu ya mawe, Kenya hii kura haitaamuliwa kwa mawe na vita na fujo na umwagikaji wa damu. Hiyo ndio siasa Uhuru Kenyatta na William Ruto walitukomboa kutoka kwa siasa ya umwagikaji wa damu. Kweli si kweli? Kwa hivyo wale wanania ya kuanza kufanya press up kabla ya 2022 ya siasa ya vita na mawe, tuwaambie leo Kenya siasa ya vita tumekataa. Waje watuuzie sera zao, na Wakenya wako tayari kusikiza sera ya kila mtu.
Chama iko imara, rais ni moja, chama party leader ni Uhuru Kenyatta, deputy party leader ni William Ruto. Wale wengine wako na shida, party leader akimaliza deputy anashikilia. Ama namna gani? Sisi hatuna story nyingine, tunataka kuenda namna hiyo kama viongozi wa Kenya mzima. Na mambo ya bedroom, nilikuwa nasikia mtu anasema hapa wao pengine hapa ni bedroom ya deputy president nini. Ninataka nyinyi msikie watu wa Soimsi kwa wewe. Bedroom ya deputy president inaitwa Kenya. Mmesikia? Bedroom ya ule jamaa mwingine ni kona moja tu kwa Kibra. Lakini bedroom ya Kenya mzima ni ya William Ruto. Sisi tunataka kuunganisha Kenya ikuwe kitu kimoja. Sisi tunataka kuongoza Kenya kama ni kitu kimoja. William Ruto hata Kisumu ni bedroom yake, kwa sababu sisi tunataka Kenya ambayo imeungana, ambayo iko moja.
Siasa ya bure ya mawe na fujo na ghasia na vita haiwezi kubadilisha Kenya. Ndio tunasema sisi kama wanajubilii tuachane na kutupa mbao wale ambao kazi yao ni kueneza fitina na chuki ndani ya Jubilee. Jubilee imegawanyika, sijui nini, fitina, sijui iko shida hapa na pale. Wewe nani alikupatia kazi ya nyapara ndani ya Jubilee?
Mr. Malala is a member of ANC party and his conduct is therefore governed by these laws. After careful reflection and deliberations, the National Disciplinary Committee has decided to take necessary disciplinary actions against this member on grounds that his conduct seriously offends not only ANC party laws, but statute laws as well. We have established that indeed Mr. Malala attended the rally and that in fact he made the offending remarks. The National Disciplinary Committee finds the imbibed remarks, which have been widely circulated in social media and are therefore in public domain, thoughtless and tragic at best. In accordance with the law cited above, therefore, the NDC has decided to suspend Mr. Cleophas Malala from the membership of ANC party summarily.
The party leadership is hell-bent on trivializing pertinent issues and magnifying petty incidences, propagating double-speak and double standards in matters party discipline. The party has, to say the least, been hijacked by egoistic, egocentric, and self-centered individuals, incapable of accommodating divergent views and quick to profile self-opinionated leaders, rebels, and/or moles. The party has disgraced from its commitment to work with other like-minded parties together with whom the NASA coalition was formed, but would love to enjoy the proceeds of the coalition thereof. In the general election of 2017, Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, who is my party leader, while being aware of the quoted statutes and party constitution, vigorously and openly campaigned for a presidential candidate of a rival party, ODM. In fact, the ANC party leader was the campaign manager of the ODM presidential candidate, His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga, the people's president. I find it paradoxical that Musalia Mudavadi was the campaign manager for an ODM candidate, yet he wants to condemn me for supporting one Imran Okoth of Kibra constituency. So I want to say here with no uncertain terms that I'm not apologetic when it comes to my support to Imran.
Wazee tafadhali, mkiwaona mwambie Mheshimiwa Duale amesema. Wewe Musalia, wewe Wetangula, uko na marafiki kina Khalwale, kina Washiali, Duale, Uhuru na Ruto. Tushikane.
All right, those are just some of the binds that we had last week as well. But let's just begin with the party politics, and we begin with what Malala is actually going through right now as far as being castigated because he's supporting another candidate. We wonder what is happening in Jubilee, Aaron Cheriot. We had also Commander supporting, our ODM candidate, Imran. Why isn't he being subjected to what Malala is being subjected to?
Because he's an inconsequential irritant.
Why would you say that?
Because I don't think it warrants the attention of the party for us to deploy. I think we have more useful things to do than to follow up on Commander, because of all the things that he has said, the party leadership has discounted. He went to Kibra together with others.
But we're just looking at the disciplinary mechanism within the parties as well, right? If we have someone who is vying for other candidates...
different political parties have got different things that they are focused on. When you have a large political party like Jubilee with hundreds of members of parliament, then you can't reduce every misdemeanor or wrong behavior on the part of a member to be an issue of disciplinary. But when you have, say, 10 or 12 members of parliament like ANC, then for sure any little behavior has to be put under microscopic check. I think that is what it boils down to. Unfortunately, it speaks to one issue that we have been very passionate about on this show, the issue of political party discipline, and the fact that people continue to disregard the lines. It wasn't foolhardy on the, or for lack of better ideas, on the part of the drafters of our constitution, that they gave prominence to political parties and even ensured that they assured it of, is it 1 or 2% of our national revenue going to fund political parties. They know political parties are the instruments through which we form government, and the maladministration that you are seeing in both national and county governments stems out of political parties not being properly run. What is the position, for example, on the leading political parties, on say Jubilee, ODM, on a governor who's been charged on corruption? You can't tell it. On a governor who's not living up to the ethos of a particular political parties. We don't have such stance. That is a point that we are aspiring to take our political parties into, that there will be instruments of governance that even before EACC clears you, a political party is able to give you a raft of measures and say, we'll take our members through certain changes or certain rigorous requirements. But as it is, unfortunately, that's where we find ourselves in.
Right. Essentially, you actually subjected the Boni Khalwale to, I think you were eagerly waiting for him to be disciplined, but he sort of really flown the coop before you did that. And we've never actually been seen also, we've never seen, aside from what we did for him here in the show, receiving him, all the Jubilee members, that is Kimani Matangi and Aaron Cheriot, receiving him to the Jubilee party officially. We don't know if Boni Khalwale is actually in Jubilee or is not. But in light of what you've seen today and the disciplinary action of your party, how was it the scenario also with Boni Khalwale?
I think the scenario with Boni Khalwale is now under the bridge.
But no, we're trying to extrapolate that to see what is really happening with this ANC as well.
Khalwale had the sense to quit, which is what an honorable thing that anybody should do. If you are dissatisfied with the direction your party is doing, then you quit. So Khalwale did the right thing, the honorable thing, which is very rare in politics, in Kenya that is, because our Kenyan politics is full of bad manners, to the extent that one wants to have both their feet in both sides, without that's the lack of ideology, the lack of decorum is so rampant in our political scene, and that's why you've got a situation of people more interested in showbiz and PR as leaders which is, showbiz and PR does not necessarily qualify as a good leadership, attribute. And I think that's why we as Kenyans have also failed to be able to handle adequately the needs of the public because of this kind of bad manners. So you should not isolate it vis-a-vis political parties, how people are behaving in the political parties. It's a reflection of what Kenyans are. Because when a thespian goes on national TV to say that Musalia was campaigning for Raila, and he wants to equate himself to that, that was the coalition document is clear that all the other principles were to campaign for the ODM principle, because that was our candidate for presidency.
Thank you.
But this thespian now chooses to say that because Musalia campaigned for Raila, then he's justified to do what he's doing. And by the way, when he's talking, he's surrounded by ODM people, not by ANC people.
Yeah, interestingly enough, because ODM, they appear here to be like vultures. They have all they're waiting for. Were you expecting an announcement that from now henceforth, I'm crossing over to ODM, Otina Molo? Just a moment. Huh?
Actions speak louder than words. He virtually announced it by the action of being surrounded by the ODM people. So I would advise ANC to forget
it
Malala.
It would be befitting for...
He has gone to ODM. They should perhaps be looking for the next candidate. Although Malala is accusing Khalwale that Khalwale is going to be, that they are going to go for a by-election and the ANC is going to support Khalwale. That's what Malala, you did finish the whole, I listened to the whole thing, and that's actually what Malala said, that ANC is intending to field Boni Khalwale in the by-election for the Senate. You see, that's a thespian given a microphone thinks that is on the stage make-believe. It's not.
Otina Molo. Were you expecting a statement from defection?
First, I don't know how you concluded they were ODM, because they didn't say or show any membership card. But to the extent that
but they have your T-shirts.
To the extent that ODM is the biggest political party with the biggest following, it is expected that if you call people at random, chances are that the majority of them will be ODM. So there's nothing surprising about that.
No.
That's number one.
But at the end of his statement, he said that members of ODM are here.
Number two.
Even Ford Kenya, he mentioned some of the parties.
Well, number two, I think you've left Boni too lightly by saying he fled before you disciplined him. You know, Boni could do that because he's not elected this time. The difficulty is with elected members of parliament or elected governors or elected deputy president, or, as a running mate or something, because the idea of quitting comes with legal consequences. You are then expected that you don't just say out there that I've quit, then logically follow it up with a letter to the speaker, for example. And the fear of by-elections, it was what keeps most of them from doing that. So you are elected on this party, your heart is in another party, and you practice and work with that other party, but you don't have the courage to declare so to the speaker because you'll face a by-election. Dr. Boni Khalwale did not have that difficulty. That's the only reason. But if you were to go that way, then, there would be, you'd examine, there are a lot. It's not just inconsequential people, as Aaron Cheruiyot is saying. Like in our elections, in the by-elections in Kibra, there were many members of parliament of Jubilee, not just Honorable Maina Kamanda, who came there and campaigned for our candidate. There are many members of ANC, and it was not just Senator Malala. There were many members of KANU, and kind of it was logical, because I think had Malala not run away, you can imagine the number of votes he would have been associated with in Kibra. So he came to where the votes really were. But, the issue is not that individual issue. The issue is that we are in a season of what I call political belligerence. And the political belligerence has to be as a consequence of the shifting political tectonic plates that I predicted last year. And this will go on this year, and it will go on for part of next year. Because there are realignments. And so when you see, Duale inviting, Musalia Mudavadi, inviting Wetangula to meet with the deputy president, all these things will go on. And my thinking is, the wiser political parties should not be quick to action. that now one of your members has done this, you are quick to want to remove them from the party and all that, because it doesn't work for two reasons. One, and we even tried it in ODM. We expelled Aisha Jumwa. She is still a member of parliament. You know, I think all these parties have tried it. First, the law is a bit difficult. Until and unless a member of their own does a letter to the speaker, removing a person from membership is really inconsequential. They even did that with Osotsi. He's still a member of parliament. So if I was to advise, the better thing is to persuade your members and your friends to be close as people are realigning. Because trying to expel them does not, you will not succeed in that endeavor. The second reason is the reality is such that right now, there is no political party in which you will say all those who are elected in it are 100%, loyal to it. None. Not Jubilee, not ODM, not ANC, not Ford Kenya. You know, people are fleeing as a matter of fact, even if they don't. So my thinking is, and in the case of Malala, by the way, there's nothing Malala did other than to come and attend the ODM rally to express support. And then what he said is that for those purposes, he was the senior most elected ANC leader by virtue of being in the Senate. I mean, what's wrong with that? So I don't see the big deal.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's hear from Ukimano Matangi.
Well, Dibal, I was still trying to.
You still actually
to get my bearing.
No,
it's okay. I'm okay with it because reason I'm saying that is because for a long time, the Malalas and the Halwale, but Halwale now is with us and the others. When there were NASA, it was very difficult to tell who is who and who does what, because that time they were following the same script then, but I've already removed you from the lot because now you are with us. But their conduct largely that time was and to a large extent was the same. And so sometimes when you hear this one saying this about the other one and about the other one, I think it is a culture then that they had in them. I think what is more evident now is the fallout in NASA. And I think that's what more pronounced, the NASA parties. And so I think I want to finally agree with what Estelle said, that NASA is clinically and physically dead, that it is no longer possible to talk about NASA. And for Malala and those comments that he made, I think at the end of the day, we also must get to political neatness, in my view, or a term that was used recently, political hygiene, such that these political parties, assumed supremacy above free will and personal expression and action should to a certain extent be curtailed. That intent, whereby you as a member of a political party is so bound that you can't speak on what you see on policy, such that even if your political party is wrong, you make your views known when you know that the party is wrong, and then the next thing that follows is discipline. Until such a time when we will strengthen our political parties, refine them and clean them up, such that they can become institutions of honor and policy and continuity, whereby they stand for something which is aligned to national goals, beliefs, and what political philosophy would want to have as a country.
Thank you.
Then that is the time when you would give that latitude to political parties to have a say in how a member of that political party behaves themselves.
Right.
So I don't think that the guy is wrong.
Thank you.
By having.
Bon Halwale.
I think before I comment on Malala, let me rest an element of doubt in your own mind, Dibal and Amolo. I am a principled public servant. If you go and look into IEBC and look into membership of political parties, you'll find I'm a registered member of Jubilee.
And that is a membership card.
There you are.
You can pass it so that in a country where we doubt the cards, so that we can prove that it's genuine. For the sake of Otiende.
No, Otiende does not know how digital parties with online membership.
Exactly. Exactly.
Otiende was just a register.
No, listen, Aaron must check because Halwale went, but he was not received. So he's checking on behalf of the Secretary General.
We received him here, and he was received by the deputy party leader.
So, I would like this point to be rested. On the issue of joining Jubilee and being received,
yes,
I was received at the second highest level of Jubilee by the deputy party leader. And that ends there.
Thank you.
I want to thank my former party leader, Moses Wetangula, when I differed with our former party, my former party, on principle, that I said Fort Kenya and ANC on their own were not attractive as national entities. They had that bad taste in the mouth that they were either regional or community parties, and I told them a starting point was merger, and they gave me an opportunity to try and midwife the process. But then when they disagreed with me, I knew we would never be able to work together. And when I moved, my former deputy party leader, like the gentleman he is, he sent me a message and wished me well. It has ended there. Number two, it was not starting from there. Before then, I had been with Fort Kenya. But when Fort Kenya tried to merge with PNU, I refused, and I formed my own party with Soita Shtanda, New Fort Kenya, and I won my seat. It didn't end there. When I chose to support Musalia Mudavadi for president, I handed over my party, New Fort Kenya, to Eugene Wamalwa, because I wanted to be fully committed to Mudavadi, and I worked with him in UDF. That, Otiende, is what principle is made of. Not just you guys who hang in ODM because once you hold on Raila's coattail, you're going to win your seats. My second point.
And the last one. Yeah, and the last one, look at the time, we start for time. Yes, please.
My second point is on my brother Musalia Mudavadi. There is this wise saying that if you must kill a fly, you don't use a sledgehammer. Malala is a fly, a political fly. He is nothing. If you look at the so-called press conference of loyal leaders flanking Malala, those are just MCAs of ODM. Lazaro Luchebreri.
Don't mention all of them.
I don't mention all of them. I was going to mention all of them. I mean, if you're saying my community, my region, is led by MCAs, then what really do you think about my community? My advice would be Mudavadi should focus on bigger pictures, like the current building of alliances by political parties to advance his agenda. But to spend time on this, shall I say, this fly, I mean, it's a waste of time.
All right, let's hear from, finally.
Malala is really a non-issue because these parties had some working document. But Dibal, I think it's not right that the story of the day is this Sagana thing, where you have a tribal meeting chaired by a president and our taxpayers in a state house, and you don't ask Wamatangi to tell us what they were told about the rest of us. You know, this Sagana thing is the real thing today. We want to know. Yeah, what are they thinking? They keep talking about something very negative. I don't know, one man, one vote. We want to know one oil, one oil. We need to know those things.
Okay. We need to wind up.
Finish with Jacoyo.
Lastly, in the tape,
we are stuck with time.
The tape you played of Kimani Ichung'wah saying they are selling their Sera. Tell us what you want to do with the presidency. Which Sera is Kimani talking about? You can't keep telling us about 2022 without telling us what you want to do with our votes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So, Kimani Matangi, were you at Sagana?
I was absolutely at Sagana. But because you said you stopped for time, can you give us time next week to say what Sagana was about?
Yes.
What the Mount Kenya region has decided and how we view our future and how we want to get into that future.
And the question is, you have Jubilee Party members. Are all of you Kikuyus? because also you conduct these particular meetings.
No,
in
no,
Kikuyu,
no,
is
no,
it?
no, 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 no. That's completely besides the point.
No, it's important because no. The president is a stabilizing figure for the country, right? How do we also have the presidency also speaking in Kikuyu? Unless you tell us that...
When the president spoke, he spoke in two languages. He spoke in his native language and in Kiswahili. But remember, this was a regional leaders meeting. It was not a national meeting. And if you listen to his speech in national
no, but all the regional, if you're talking, just a moment, if you're talking about just a moment,
when we are having our PG, which brings together all our leaders, then we use the language that's necessary.
But
that is like when you go to your mother's house,
not all leaders.
Dibal,
okay.
Then you speak in your mother tongue to your mother.
We have
this was a consultation of local leaders.
Okay.
Yes.
We save it for next week. We save it for next week. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for your valued company.
On Tuesday, prioritize. I don't know.